Hello, it's Stephanie. I'm very pleased. I'm here in Bruges, so in Belgium, a very nice city. And as you can see, I'm not alone. So this is the new emission, the new program Accrochard. So Shandy, I'm very pleased to be with you. So you are Shandy Gardin, you are a curator. You specialize also in architecture. But I'm here with you because you've organized the 4th edition of Triennale de Bruges, isn't it? You're the co-curator.
Yes, that's true. So, hello everybody, nice to meet you also. I co-curated this edition, so the 4th edition of Bruges Triennial, entitled Spaces of Possibility, together with my colleague Sevit Sampala, who was the curator or is the curator of visual arts.
Okay, that's really great. So this 4th edition, I remember it's specific that it's here in Bruges. It's because there was before Triennale here in Bruges.
Yes, indeed. Actually, our tradition goes back to the 60s. In 68, there was a first edition of Bruges Triennial, but a very different one than the ones we organize now. It was an edition that was mainly focusing on what happened in the Belgian art scene, and it was an indoor exhibition that took place in the city halls and once also in the place here actually next to us, the former building. And after 3 editions, the Bruges Triennial then stopped for a while, but since 2015, the new edition, let's say, has been organized with 2 main differences. We focus on visual arts, but also on architecture. And we not only show national artists and architects, but also international artists and architects.
Yes, indeed. It's quite impressive. So you have 12 artists here for this edition. How do you select them?
Well, it's quite a puzzle because we, of course, first start with the determination of a theme and conceptual lines that we feel are important to address with this edition. And then we, first of all, make like a long list with artists, architectural practices that we feel are really suiting the themes that we are looking for. We try to downsize those until 15 names that we then invite to Bruges to go and walk together with us through the city and discover more details that they feel or that they interest them. So.
And then they will submit a proposal for a place they really like and the idea of a work for that place.
Yes, indeed. So the idea is that, of course, with already downsizing our selection to 15 names where we feel that there's a good mix of national, international, visual arts, architecture, but also age, mediums that they work with. So it's as I said, a quite complicated puzzle. But then we walk together with them in the city. We have determined a specific zone this edition to work with. And then for them, it's also a bit feeling like what is triggering them, what interests them for a location. And they give us their preferences. And starting from those, we check also, of course, is it feasible? Is it feasible? Because, of course, some properties are private properties or public spaces. So that's the first phase. But we were very lucky. We were able to manage and to work with all the locations that were chosen by the artists themselves.
Wow, that's really cool. So let's enter one of these specific locations. So the entrance, as you say, it's a garage door. So what will we see? So the Triennale will last until the 1st of September, yes. I've seen. But where are we here, Shandy?
We're here in the Hoogstraat, is the name of the street. And we just walked in through a very banal green garage door, let's say. And we enter through this installation by soil in a garden that actually is now for the first time opened for the public. So what we want to do with this edition, Spaces of Possibility, is really focus on the transformation of a World Heritage City and how we can think of future potential are places that are nowadays not used or underused, and that we can, through some series of artistic interventions, like maybe reactivate and make people think and wonder about what these places could mean for the future of the city of Bruges, but perhaps also there are some ideas that could be inspirational to cities elsewhere. So, for example, this specific garden is part of the Capuchin monastery. The priests that used to live here, they moved out a couple of years ago. So this is an inner garden that was closed off to the public since it was built. But now, of course, since the priests move out, this is a site that was completely empty. So also the buildings, of course, of the monastery were not used anymore. So the city started to think of, okay, how can we transform this site? The buildings themselves are now managed by Tourism Flanders, but the garden itself, also there are some future ideas of making perhaps a connection, like a really physical connection between the Houwerstraat, where we just entered, and the Clock Street, because there is also another very interesting project, the Saint Godelieve Abbey, on the other side. And we knew about these future plans or these ideas, so we thought, okay, maybe we can also mention it to all the artists and architects coming here. And if somebody thinks it's super interesting to work with, perhaps they are willing to work with this garden and already make people acquainted with the site and show perhaps also what's possible with this place, because it's so beautiful. It's big. It's a big surface also in terms of area in the city. So it has a lot of potential for the future of the city. And as you can see, this is an intervention soil. They came here and they were like immediately sold. They said, okay, we want to do something with this place. So they created this piece called Common Thread. And Common Thread, as you know, starts from the garage door, but is actually intertwining through the garden and is actually also guiding the people through the place with this high-tech installation, you can call it, because it's a woven structure, but it's made at the Technological University in Delft, together with Dr. Mariana Popescu, who is she has done a PhD on how you can use 3D knitting in construction. And together with her and with Summum Engineering, they have designed or engineered, you can almost say, this piece that is all made by one big computer machine or computer supported machine that has woven 3 months on the structure and then of course been installed here on site. And maybe interesting to mention also is that the yarn that has been used to create the piece is not standard yarn. It's made out of recycled PET bottles. So it's also a form of reuse, but not in a literal way, but in a very high-tech way.
Wow, it's very impressive. I have to admit, I first entered the piece before meeting you, and I wouldn't imagine so many things behind it. So it's very surprising. What also very impressed me is that compared to the previous edition, the location has changed. So it's also a good way to visit Bruges and to be amazed by new places as this one who wasn't open for the public before.
Yeah, indeed. That's also why we have now determined a specific zone, because the zone that we have marked on the city map physically starts at the market square and goes all the way up to the west of Bruges. Why the west and not, for example, the north? Is because this part has been cut off from the rest of the city center for ages, because there was a train or a rail track going or cutting really the thing off. Okay. So if you look to historical maps, you can see on the Zand Square, where we also met, where our central information point is, there used to be the first train station. So now the new train station is elsewhere. But that meant that this part was not really part of the rest of the egg of Bruges. And it's very interesting to see how the city, the last decades, really starts to redevelop certain areas. This one is also part of that redevelopment to really make sure that the egg is whole again, you can say. So in terms of the thematic lines, or the ideas that we really wanted to address with spaces of possibility, the idea of transformation was very important. So that's why we moved our area towards the west of Bruges, because it's very present here.
Wow. So really well imagined. It's really nice. So it's free for the public. It's open until the 1st of September. What also I very appreciate is that in front of each sculpture or installation, you have explanation, you have an audio guide, download an application by Visit Bruges. So everything is made in order to understand the piece. And also, if you want, you can ask to the tourism office to participate to a tour guide.
Yes, that's true. So we have a pool or a group of guides that are trained to guide or to give guided tours to the people every week or almost daily. Also, Visit Bruges organizes a tour where you as an individual can say, I want to join. So you don't have to book for a whole group, which is also, of course, an added value. If you just come here and you feel like, oh, maybe I want to do it now, it's easy to just join that tour. But you can also book, of course, with a group, with a school, with your family. We have specific tours for kids. So there's a very, let's say, extensive public program. Of course, the guided tours are not free, but all the other tools, the city map, the information is freely accessible to everyone.
Thank you, Shandy. Thank you very much. So please come here in Bruges to visit this Triennial edition. Thank you. Alors, mon coup de cœur, eh bien, c'est l'exposition Tracy Emin chez Xavier Hufkens. C'est une artiste britannique très importante. On a beaucoup de chance qu'elle soit représentée en Belgique par ce célèbre galeriste Xavier Hufkens. Et donc, c'est à voir. Vraiment, c'est une expérience unique. Elle a un positionnement, ça peut être des œuvres très violentes, mais quand vous rentrez dedans, en fait, il y a une émotion, il y a quelque chose qui sort de ses tripes, comme on dit, qui est assez impressionnant à voir. Alors, à l'approche de ce break estival, mes 3 coups de cœur de cet agenda. Évidemment, on commence par les rencontres photographiques d'Arles qui se tiennent du 1er juillet au 29 septembre à Arles. C'est un événement vraiment incontournable. Pourquoi ? Parce que c'est une quarantaine d'expositions dans toute la ville d'Arles. Il y a aussi le Grand Arles Express où c'est dans les environs des villes avoisinantes donc de Arles. C'est un événement que je trouve très intéressant parce que la qualité, il y a aussi une thématique, la qualité des expositions est intéressante et c'est aussi dans les lieux des fois un peu étonnants. Alors en Belgique, il y a 2 expositions que si vous ne les avez pas encore vues qu'il ne faut pas manquer. C'est Joseph et Annie Albers à la Fondation Bogossian, c'est jusqu'au 8 septembre. Et il y a l'exposition au SMAC consacrée au Public vs Private Collection sur Jan Hout. Ça fait 10 ans malheureusement qu'il est décédé. C'est le fondateur du SMAC et c'est en résonance avec la collection Mattes Kool, qui est une collection aussi très importante, aussi de quelqu'un qui a pensé cet art contemporain. Et donc ça, c'est à voir jusqu'au 8 janvier 2025. Là, je vous laisse un petit peu de temps. Voilà, au plaisir. N'hésitez pas à liker, à partager, à en parler autour de vous et à nous suivre. Au revoir.